We're finally discussing the one, the only Young Thug Barter 6. A couple months late, I know, but we're finally going to discuss this album in late. Just kidding. We're talking about Tame Impala, Currents.
A.K.A.
Album of the Year, 2015, 9.3. B&M.
Best new meme.
Memes. Oh,
best new meme. This album is a conundrum wrapped in a mystery, wrapped in a riddle.
Okay, I do want to say this is one of the most conflicting albums. I think this is one of the most interesting albums of 2015. It's also very conflicting, but I dislike it. But just to flat out say it, I generally dislike this album.
I am kind of on the fence about it. I'm just gonna tell you in my opinion. Because on one hand, like production wise, it is woohoo! It is tasty. Like I want to eat this album. It tastes like candy. Like in my head, it's candy, and I want to eat it. And just so many of the songs. It's such a well-crafted pop album. Like the pop songs, like they're just catchy. They just feel good. But then there are songs like "Past Life," which like totally take. I know everybody's like, I pretty much like beat the dead horse that is "Past Life" being bad over and over again. But that song, at least in terms of the pop music side of it, it totally like breaks that nice pop music immersion and kind of has to take you into the narrative. And this is when the album I don't like it because Kevin Parker is not the best songwriter in indie.
It is especially apparent on this album that he is not the best songwriter.
It is, and there is some of his lyrics on this album are just like not good. And before,
we should explain our problems with this album. We should go more in depth on this.
Okay, yeah, I know. That's what we're getting though. So that's like the basic thing is that I think this album is amazingly produced. I think it's an amazingly produced album. I think it sounds awesome. And I love the vibe of it.
I kind of disagree to an extent. I think production overall is good, but there's some songs that I don't like. Production, I don't like. But I think it's just like personal preference.
But yeah, but I mean, it's like as far as it's just there's some really great pop songs on it. It's just really really nice songs that I think might be some of my favorites from this year. Or at least as a whole, the album it's just really easy to get into. But at the same time, there are levels of it that where on some albums, like that added layer of depth is really beneficial. Like, I don't know, Contra, as we were mentioning earlier, how Contra on the surface it's pop. But there's like just you go down just a tiny bit and it just blossoms, you know? So that's an album like Contra. And this album, I think, is an album that was designed to do that. But it just doesn't. When you dig down there, you just find like kind of like gross stuff, and it's just like, I don't want to be down here. Yeah.
In short, this album is basically like it's like if your douchey ex-boyfriend wrote an album. That's the description I would give to Currents. Is that if your douchey ex-boyfriend writes an album?
So what are we gonna start with? What are we gonna talk about?
Do we want to go like straight with the intro? I don't want to do like a track by track assessment, but like
we're not going to. Let's just talk about what we like about the album.
Okay,
I have probably the worst opinion of Currents than everyone ever.
And like
Currents? Someone on this sub is gonna listen to this podcast and be like, "Wow, I hate that girl," because like basically, I was like, it's like yeah. It's alright. Like, I didn't really listen to the lyrics. They're kind of like... I never really listened to Tame Impala's lyrics that much. I listened to it for the vibe. And I really like Lonerism, like, a lot. Like, a lot. And, like...
lyrics on Lonerism are fine, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, I listened to Lonerism, like, today, actually. Like, when I was watering flowers. Or tonight, when I was watering flowers. And Lonerism, I don't like it. Like, I just can't hold, like, a personal connection with it. But, like, it was... pleasant and it wasn't pleasant. I mean, it was pleasant and it wasn't offensive, unlike Currents, which is somewhat offensive.
Anyways, Arthi, sorry, finish what you were saying.
But like the first time I listened to it and like the second time I listened to it, because I only listened to it like 3 times at the most, maybe not even that many times, was like my favorite song was Nangs. I don't know if that's
a very good song. It's in my top 3 of the album, easily.
It's
But it's
like,
also 1 minute and 48 seconds
but the
long.
reason, and that's like the shortest song on the album, and like I
No, it
don't
isn't.
know what
Gossip
that
is.
says about. Oh, whoops. That's like one of the shortest songs, and I don't know what that says about it or what that says about me. But like, I realized that the only reason I like that song is just because it sounds the most like Lonerism, and that's like it's good. I like that they're like trying new things and like he's trying to focus more on his lyrics and like he's just trying to figure it out. But like, I don't know. I just maybe like I just did want Lonerism Part 2 and I was that one person who did. And then like I know that's not really what I should have expected, but like if I like I guess my verdict is if I'm like I want to listen to Tame Impala right now, I'm probably not gonna go listen to Currents.
Hmm.
That's respectable. Okay,
Yeah.
I want to. I guess I want to go first when I talk about cards because Jeremiah, you kind of let it at first. Okay, the sound. Okay, the main theme of the album is about change. It is about changing as a person, and but the problem with that is that throughout the entire album, Kevin Parker's all just like, "I'm a different person now. I'm changing as a person." Over and over again,
People
beating upon
never
my head.
say you
I'm
change.
changing. I'm changing.
People say you never change, but that's
But that's
bullshit. They
bullshit. They
do.
do. Okay,
Why?
it's again. It's okay.
Oh.
Thing is, in the album, the reason why I say it's like your douchey ex-boyfriend is because like he tries getting back in your life. It's like, I'm sorry, babe. I'm so sorry. I'm different now. I changed. I realized what I did wrong, babe. I'm sorry. And the lyrics of the album and just the general theme, like the theme of like changing as a person, but like it doesn't really come off that way. It's a lot like the production, where the production, it's trying to be like the production like it's not that different from Lonerism in my opinion. It's not that different. He just added some more synthesizers. It
Well,
like there's
there's
still
far more
guitars in
synthesizers,
there. There's still bass and there's still the
but the
drums.
synthesizers are the main thing.
But there's more focus on synthesizers and more 80s influence. But like
Yeah.
it's not like a super artistic progression like some people are making it out to be because it's not.
I actually do think it's pretty different from
Well,
Lonerism.
I
But
think it's
that's just
very
because
Lonerism.
yeah, because I've listened to Loner like I think maybe the reason you don't think that is because you aren't familiar with Lonerism.
And that's probably the main
But I've
reason. But like, I listened to it today, and I was
yeah.
just like, "This." I listened to Lonerism and Currents back to back, and I was like, "This isn't that much different." I think there are certain songs in the album that are like a little bit different, but most of the album is not that
Yeah,
different
that's
to
weird.
Lonerism.
I mean, like
Actually,
I'm very, very
that's actually
familiar with.
very. Yeah, me too. I'm very familiar with Lonerism too,
With
and they're very, very different albums. And I actually feel kind
yeah.
of bad because, like, I think like my feelings towards Currents might make me not like listen to Lonerism anymore, which makes me feel really sad because I love Lonerism so much. But I don't know. They're actually really different. I do like the direction he went. And I do like. I mean, granted, I'm a sucker for a good synthesizer. I'm a sucker for a good
And
synth
I
pop.
am too, but like,
But I
I
think he
think
did. I
I'm not
think
a big. I'm sorry, Jeremiah. I'm just not a
or
big
like
like
let it
biggest fan of
happen.
like nostalgia acts. I guess
I
I
wouldn't
don't know.
consider this nostalgia actually. Because people always point to like the '80s stuff, but on this it really does sound fresh. At least in terms of the production, in terms of the sound, it sounds like obviously there's some '80s like tribute, but at the same time, it also does feel like a new thing. It does feel very fresh. Like there's sometimes when like you can have a very album like that's like drenched in nostalgia that does pay tribute to a lot of things from the past, and it can sound you know really nostalgic and almost like bloated and like and it's nostalgic. Looking at Lost in the Dream, which is an amazing album by the way, it finally clicked for me. But that was my first reaction, was that it was so ground in the '80s that like it was almost suffocating the album. But actually, Currents does not feel like one of those albums to me. It does sound very fresh. It does like something sound so that was so I mean, bleh. It does sound like something new before. It does sound like something I have never heard. And I really, really like that. I really, really like the sound. It's just it sounds like teal and red, and it sounds like a really tasty candy that I want to eat. And I really appreciate production like that. The little candy coated production. But Oh yeah, and so like Let It Happen, like the little like it's like yeah, feel this, and you can dance to it, and then like eventually the guitars on eventually are really good. I think that's one of the only guitar centric tracks is eventually, but it's just like I really like the sound. I really like the sound he went for. I like the direction he went, and I mean everybody knew he was going to change. I would not. I realistically, I would not have liked another Lonerism. Well, actually, no, that's not true. I would have. Other people wouldn't have. It would have been disappointing if he made another Lonerism
Yeah.
because Inner Speakers and Lonerism they're very similar, and I did want him to change it up because I do like it when artists change, and I think he did go a really interesting direction. But the other thing he changed, which he beat us over the head with song titles like "Yes, I'm Changing" and "New Person, Same Old Mistakes," is the fact that not only did he change his music, which he made very, very clear, not only in the music and but also in the lyrics, but he also like changed the way he wrote his songs, and he changed the way he went about the album. So instead of
Can we just
Lonerism,
flat out say this is a badly written album?
yes, it's really
Okay, the
poorly
lyrics
written.
on this album are terrible,
All right, but
terrible.
we gotta slow build. You know, we gotta be very thoughtful
Okay,
about this.
can we give some song, can we give some examples of this?
Yes.
Okay,
Let's
so
start with "Yes, I'm Changing."
okay. Do we want to start with some change? Did we already kind of went with that? It's like that's.
But let's just go on Jesus real
But
fast.
it's bullshit.
They do.
Okay, the album is just it's just like
Can you guys stop giving him that voice?
Yikes.
okay. That's another problem with the
Sorry.
album is that he has this stupid little
Whenever-
like nasally falsetto
whenever
the entire
Matty
album, and
sings,
it's so annoying.
Like Kevin Parker, he just sings in this really awful voice.
Yeah, it's true.
Well, I can't sing.
People say it never
Okay, but like okay.
I
But
don't
yes, I'm
want to
changing.
keep...
It's like it's like a douchebag explorer breaking up with his girlfriend. It's just it's like I'm moving on. Life's moves and
Well,
moving.
that's
It's
not
like
even like I don't even have a problem with like the persona he cultivates because I think we actually did. Actually, we should talk about this.
we were because we were discussing the other day. Like we were coming to
He's definitely going for very shallow, like in the production. The production, while it is exquisite, it's also very on the surface, and so are the lyrics, and so is everything, and so is like his character that he makes because he's trying to make a really shallow and like douchey boyfriend. Like that's what he's trying to be, or at least like that's what he's projecting himself as on this album. And I think that is intentional, but where the lyrics fall flat for me isn't like what they're about. It's like it's actually really interesting. Like wow, I've never heard someone like be like take on that character because those people exist.
the issue is it a character or not?
No, that's not even that. It's not even that. I don't even care if Kevin Parker is like this in real life. What I care about is lines like "It was raging, it was late. In the world my demons cultivate. I felt the strangest emotion, but it wasn't hate." Like that is
It's
just
really weak rhymes.
corny. Just the lyrics are just so corny and bad. And I just like and before on Lonerism, like he didn't really the lyrics were like either like gives a hook that he repeated and there wasn't a lot of them, or on some songs like I don't know, they were just like nice, they weren't like the main focus. But with this album, it felt like he was trying to make the lyrics the main focus. And when he did that, when he decided
It exposed his poor songwriting abilities.
yeah, and it's like if you just ignore the lyrics, if you don't speak English, this album is beautiful. This album is beautiful. It's gorgeous. It sounds so nice and it's so catchy. You just dance.
It sound
But
works
like
better. It's better in the background.
the second I start paying attention, yeah, oh definitely. But the second I start paying attention to the lyrics, it makes me I just like can't. It's just like hard for me. But it shouldn't be a problem. I can ignore the lyrics. Except this is when Past Life comes into play. Now, people are like, "Why do you hate Past Life so much? It's a pretty cool song. It goes between spoken word and
Oh
this really
God!
catchy hook."
Because
But
that's
here's
the
the
issue.
reason-
Because
Here's the reason. Actually, hold on, wait. Here's the reason why I hate Past Life. Because when I'm listening to the album and I talk to you about how it's like, I think it's a great pop album, right? And all the songs, like it's like poppy, it's like yeah, it's like grooving, and then Past Life starts. And
It
it's
tries to
like
continue the
this
narrative, but you don't really care about the narrative.
but it forces you into the narrative, and I was listening to the album yesterday actually, and I was like, and this was like what I was going through. I was like, this is so much fun. I'm really enjoying this album. Like, wow. And then Past Life started, and I listened to it, and it like first of all, Past Life, just the way the spoken word does, like for like the first 2 minutes,
Sounds like they
it
fuck.
completely kills the vibe. It completely kills the rhythm that the album had. But what makes it so like is that he forces you, like, you can just not be paying attention, but then Past Life is so different that it forces you to pay attention. And I was like, oh, right. He's beating me over the head with this really dumb, like, story, and now I have to get into it. And then I think I like, and it's just like, oh, God, dude.
And Passive exposes a problem with the album with the changing because he keeps claiming he's changing as a person, but that just does not seem to be the case at
But
all.
even
Maybe
then,
until the
don't,
outro.
I don't even care about that. I just don't like he just doesn't write. It's just not like well written. It's a very compelling, it's a very interesting like character that he takes on, or at least like how he projects himself. And I think it's really, really fascinating how he projects himself with the music and with himself as this really shallow individual who is just like a shitty guy and is like, I'm changing. Just kidding, I'm not. And eventually he says like, eventually I'll be happier and you will too, because he's like
Okay,
self-centered.
I wanted to discuss that because like that is that I because like we were talking about like yes I'm changing it's like bad lyrics, but like eventually that is like that's one of the most shallow songs on the album.
Yeah,
It's like because he has to mention him. It's like the thing is he's breaking up with his girlfriend, and it's just like, and I think the thing is he tells her, instead of being like, you know what, I'm sorry this doesn't work out, instead of like consoling her, he's like, you'll get over it eventually. It's like, but no, I will get over it eventually, and then you will too. It's like that's such a fucking douchebag
I
move.
know, and that's the idea, and I think that's really interesting, and I'm really glad that he took that risk on that, and I think it's just a really cool thing that he did. And it's like, wow, I haven't
But
heard anybody really talk about that. Come on, how often are you gonna hear an artist be like, "Yep, I'm
okay,
that
the issue
douchebag
with
boy"?
that, Jeremiah,
It's
is
not
that
often.
like I want to enjoy this album. I want to enjoy the music, and this keeps me from. It's like cool. It's
You're
an
right.
interesting character study. I don't care because
Yeah, that
it's
is
like
the thing.
because I don't know what he's like trying to do. It's like is he trying to be relatable? Is he playing a character? I have no idea what he's trying to do on this album.
I mean, I
That's
do
the
think
issue.
that
Weirdly,
the shallowness. I mean, it is like something he does. It's definitely intentional with the music. I think we did determine that there's a lot of gloss on the surface, but I do think this is intentional. Like, there's a lot of gloss on the surface, but there's not very much underneath. And I
hmm
do think that is intentional. I do think that's supposed to reflect like him in a way, but I just don't know if that little narrative that he creates is like, and like that thing that he strives for, especially with the lyrics, is enough to justify how corny and bad the lyrics are at times, and just how, just like miserable Past Life is as a song. And I really just wish he just made a pop album. I really just wish he made a pop album, because we already knew that he was an exceptional
yeah. I just
pop
wish he was more
craftsman. Like
like just
Lonerism, he said he set out to make a bunch of cheesy pop songs. And in 2012, when I was like under the impression, or when that album came out, and I was reading about it on Wikipedia, I was under the impression that pop was like, I didn't really know what pop was, and so I was like, oh, that's funny. This is a pop album. This isn't a pop album. That's weird. But like, it really is. There's so many cats like feels like I only go backwards. Like, oh my gosh, it's just so nice, right? And I think Currents, some of the songs like Let It Happen, like eventually is really catchy. The Moment is it's just a beautiful, gorgeous pop song.
I don't like the moment.
I love The
I don't
Moment,
like the moment
but
because it
it's
sounds
okay.
like a Tears for Fears. It like it steals
Well,
its synth line straight
it's
from a Tears for
it
Fears
sounds
song.
more like Gwen Stefani's The Sweet Escape to me. But
It's
that's
a bit of
okay.
both of the Sweet Escape and then
Anyways,
Everybody
that
Wants to
doesn't
Rule the
really
World.
matter. I like it. I like it when songs remind me of other songs sometimes. But just there's so many great pop songs, but I think that the narrative that he creates, which isn't a particularly strong narrative, it's an interesting narrative. It's a narrative that we haven't really heard before, and it is compelling. But I just don't think that with his songwriting skills, or at least the songwriting skills he demonstrates on this album, I don't think it's executed very well.
Mhm.
And I think that it does drag down the album. Whereas if he had focused more on pop songs, if he had fleshed out Nangs, if he had fleshed out Disciples, if he had fleshed out Disciples and stuff like that, and cut out maybe Past Life, and just kind of like and stopped beating us over the head with this "I'm changing, but I'm actually not changing" narrative. Like, I think the album would be better. I do think so. That's really my main conclusion. That's what I think. I think this album, from a completely pop perspective, is gorgeous. It is great. It is catchy. It is fun. I can put it on. I can dance. I can vibe, and I can do stuff. It's just a great feel good album. But once you go under the surface, once you break the surface, which is very easy to do because he makes it like he kind of forces you to break the surface with songs like Past Life and songs like Yes, I'm Changing. He makes you do that, and then once you do that, once you go under the surface, it's just
It's not the
It just
same.
drags it down. It just drags it down. And I just wish, and it's just so weird because normally I'm like all about that like added layer of complexity. But in this album,
But
in
the thing
this
is,
case,
the
I
problem with
just
that
don't
is that
feel
it's
like
that
it's
digging deeper
executed
doesn't do
well.
you any good. It makes
Yeah,
things
in this
worse.
in this case, it just wasn't executed well, and I do think that it brings down the album, which I hate to say because I really was really excited for this album to be great. But aside from, I mean, there's some songs that I'm obviously going to be like having on repeat, like freaking "The Moment" is just the jam, right?
Mhm.
But they're just like the narrative. I just think was unnecessary, and I do think it brings down the album. And that's the sad truth of it, I think.
I
And
wish he
okay,
That's
didn't
all I have to
release
say.
like six
it
singles
was four singles, and he stopped
or
after like a
four.
couple months. Like he released a bunch of quick succession, then stopped like 2 months before the album came out.
I feel like we he should have done two.
Yeah,
I feel
two or
like
three
yes,
singles.
I'm changing, and then eventually, and then I feel like Let It Happen shouldn't have been a single.
I mean, wasn't it originally not even supposed to be on the album? Because I heard that whenever it came out, I was like, oh yeah,
Yeah.
this is not supposed to be on the album, and then it was, and that was weird. Okay, but okay, I just want to say, okay, we have not talked about the song yet. I hate because I'm a man. I hated it when it came out, and I hate it even worse now. Now that I had to really focus on this album. I hate it. I hate his stupid voice. I don't like the production, and it's just and then the songwriting is not good because it's just sort of like he can't. I guess it's like he can't really own up to his mistakes. And it's just because like I'm a man, okay? It's because I'm a man. That's why I can't own up to my mistakes and whatnot.
'Cause I'm a
Oh my god,
man, woman.
it's
That
just
line is
so
that's a
annoying.
really cringe-worthy line.
It's so
But
annoying, and it has a good sentiment like
it doesn't have a good
of not being
sentiment.
able to like defend yourself and just sort of like not finding reasoning for your actions, but at the same time though it just shows like such immaturity in your songwriting, and it's just sort of like I am immature, I'm 18, but like I like okay, the thing is when I was very surprised to find out that Curse was a breakup album. Whenever like I think Will told me was like, yeah, it's a breakup album, and I was like, wait, what? Because I didn't realize that just from those listens because like you can barely understand what he's saying at first. And, like even then, I wasn't really enjoying the music. It's just sort of like okay, this is just
Well,
it's
I mean,
there.
how much did you like Lonerism before? How much have you given?
Okay, I didn't give. Okay, I will admit I was not a big Tame Impala fan going into this album,
Okay,
so
okay,
I'm a
so
little biased.
that is one thing that we should because you were
And
talking about
Lonerism,
how
and I
you hate
start.
his stupid voice and like you hate like the sound, and I was like, wait a minute, but
I
I mean,
listen to Lonerism. I think his voice is fine on Lonerism. I think Lonerism is a good album, not great, but a good album. It's enjoyable. It's not offensive. It's enjoyable. Like I don't mind listening to Lonerism, but like it's not on my I feel like I have to listen to Lonerism right now.
Lonerism is pretty freaking great though. Gotta be, gotta be, gotta be. I remember
But
when I
like
first, I was actually, well, I'm gonna share a little anecdote because I got it for Christmas 2012, and so I was walking my dog, and I put all the Christmas 2012 albums I had on shuffle, and so the first song I heard from it was "She Just Won't Believe Me," which is the 40-second long one, and I legitimately thought it was a John Lennon sample, and I was really confused.
oh yeah.
But I don't know. I mean, I think like his vocals are fine on because I'm a man, but I just really don't like I just really don't like the "cause I'm a man."
Man, woman.
Just the
Do
woman
do
thing.
do do. It's just so
I mean,
slow
it's
and
fine.
just oh god. I just
I mean,
hate it.
it's there's a lot of reverb. It's kind of chill, but
It's
you're
just
right.
slow
I do
and
think
boring.
I
It's
do
just
think
like
his
I don't
falsetto
care.
is not the best on this song.
And but the problem is that his falsetto is that it's on every single song. He has the same whiny, nasally
But
falsetto
yeah,
on
like
almost every single
the
song. And then
chorus
like
on
in
"Cause
Cause
I'm
of
a
Man, it's
Man"
just
is just
amplified. And then like on other songs, like it's fine because like it's only one song. Let It Happen, it's fine on there because it's one song. Nangs, it's fine. But like as the album
yeah, you're
progresses,
right.
it keeps
Cause I'm a
just
Man is really like
fluctuating.
that slow burner where he goes all out and it's like I'm emotional, but at the same time, like really, his lyrics are corny. His lyrics are cheesy. The
It's like
idea
he's
is
it can
cheesy. It's not even like well executed.
it takes
And
itself too
because
seriously.
I'm a
Some
man,
it
woman is one of those. It's like one of those lines where he probably was like super stoned when he thought of it. He was like, "Oh, this is genius," and so then he like sang it and didn't really look back.
I think that really is one of the problems with this album is that it takes itself way too seriously.
Oh, definitely. Oh,
It takes
100.
itself a little too seriously. It
Yeah,
doesn't.
because he
Yeah.
always
It
he
doesn't have
talks about
fun
how
because the production should be fun, and like there are certain songs that have fun. Like I love "The Less I Know, the Better." It's so much fun to listen to that song. What Happened is so much fun. Nangs is so much fun, and
I
New
really like it.
Person Same Old Mistakes
But
is.
he just kind of, but you're right. He just kind of like he took this narrative and like it he just took the narrative just became too much. The narrative
It's
became
not a well
bigger
written
than the
narrative. It's not
album.
like okay, I can't be sympathetic to
Well,
this
it's not a narrative.
character.
You're right. It's not a narrative, but it's the idea, the theme.
The
Like,
theme. It's like
well,
okay,
I'm calling it a narrative because that's the easiest way to call it. The
yeah.
easiest way to describe it is this like character in this narrative, and the narrative became, I think, too much. I think he
It's
focused on
too
the
prominent
narrative.
for it's badly written and it's too prominent,
Yes.
and that's the issue. It's like okay, if this was just kind of in the background, like okay, whatever. Like you don't need to know about the narrative, but like he's
Yes.
like, no, I want
Yeah.
you to know about my breakup.
Yeah.
And it's
but
like,
it's
no,
like
Kevin,
you're
you
forced
it's
to
like
go
no,
and
Kevin,
meet
you
the
look like a
surface.
douchebag.
Well, no, even then, I don't really care that. I'm glad that he makes himself look like a douchebag.
Okay,
I think
the
that's
problem.
interesting.
Okay, Jeremiah,
But what
I,
don't
I
like
get
is
that,
just
and
the
that's an interesting thing about the album is that like it's a character study of him being a douchebag, but at the same time though, it's like I don't really find that enjoyable. And like, and the thing is, to give an example of a character that is very sort of, I love Wonikura. It's a great album, but goddamn, is it one-sided? And goddamn, when you really look into that, like to real details, you go, oh wow, Björk, she's kind of a
Bjork.
Björk is how you pronounce her name. Okay, it's pronounced like jerk. It's like that. It has like an irk in it. Okay, Björk. Okay, but she's again. But the thing is, her vocals are so powerful and her lyrics are so well written that you really sympathize with her. And despite some of the things we've heard, the crazy things, it's still sort of like a very beautiful album that it feels genuine. It feels real. Currents again, and he kind of addresses this on New Person, Same Old Mistakes, where it's like, hold on, let me find the lyric real quick. It's something about like being fake and like, sorry, I should have had this open. Let me Control F, fake. Come on, god damn it! I'm sorry, this is very unprofessional.
Well, so your
like,
problem
it's
seems to
like
be
finally taking flight. I know you don't think it's right. I know that you think it's fake. Maybe fake's what I like, and it's just sort of like, okay, that's cool, Kevin, but like that doesn't make me like the album that much. It's not genuine. It doesn't feel. I don't feel anything from this album. I feel just sort of a fit. If I feel anything, it's negative feelings towards this album. There's not many there's not that many positive feelings.
Guys, remember when I thought Currents was 2 hours long?
Oh yeah. Why? Where did you get that impression that it was 2 hours long?
I don't know. Someone on the sub said that, I think, and then I just had that in my mind, and I was like, all right, 2 hours. That's a lot of ambition.
That is one thing. It shouldn't be as long as it is.
Yeah, because but before the intro, like Reality, Emotion, and Love and Paranoia, those are obviously filler. Like it is flat out filler.
Well, I don't know. I just think he could have. I don't know. See, your problem seems to be with his character more so. My problem is with the execution of the character.
I would agree that it's
because you seem to be really like I just really dislike this douchey dude that he comes off as, and which is it's fair. You're not supposed to like that, and I think that is like the intention. You're not supposed to like this character because it is like an unlikable character, and it's like very off-putting, and it's like, and I actually really do admire that he like put this foot forward for us to look at.
The thing is that we've repeated over and over.
But he does beat us over the head with it.
It's not well written. It's like the thing is,
it's not well written. It's corny. It's just like, look at me, guys! Like the freak. Every time I come back to this lyric, but I think this lyric is is the epitome of the album. Is the they say people don't change. That's bullshit. They do. Like that line right there is like the album summed up, and that's like my problems with the album is that line. Because that's one of the corniest lines, and that's the line that that's where it's like, yep, you're being us, yep, you're changing, we got it, you're a douche, we got it, yep, and we just don't need to hear it. And I just wish I could just listen to nice pop music that I know you've so much in you, because some of your hooks are just insane. I just want to hear all of those and just have a nice 40-minute synthy, just woo. That's all I want from you, Kevin Parker.
Okay. I was trying to make this point. Okay. The idea that we're into the inside of a douchebag is very interesting, and it can work. I mean, again, you can make a case of Onekura is basically like from
dark
perspective
fantasy
of a very somewhat of a kind of
saboteur the douchebag.
It's not. I won't say Onekura.
Assholes.
Okay, Jeremiah, let me fucking speak. God damn it.
Hey, I was giving you another album.
I know.
I was saying
I'm trying to explain my point,
like
and like I'm trying to explain my point. I'm trying to articulate my point about Onekura, where she plays somewhat of a character that's very kind of complex. Her character is very complex, where like you don't know whether to like support her or go against her, but you know how she's feeling and you sympathize with those feelings. The problem with this album, and we said it a couple times already, is that it's not well written. That he could make an album like this work, but like he doesn't make this character interesting. It's like it's an interesting concept.
Yeah, I agree.
But he doesn't make the character interesting. It's just sort of like this is just a douchebag that
I agree with you.
I don't care. And the thing is, I should like this album because it's a breakup album, and like some of the things he talks about in this album, I can relate to because that's sort of like something that happened with my breakup. But like at the same time, though, it's like maybe it's sort of a personal thing where it like exposes my flaws as a person, where it's kind of like maybe a little too real for me, and that's why I don't. It's like
maybe you should be more embracing of it. I don't know, but I actually no. I think we are on the same page. I just think we're confused about it. I just think it's I agree with you. I mean, I don't really have a problem with his character because I think that is a really interesting it's really interesting, but I just think he didn't execute it well at all. And I think it brings down the album. Whereas if he had executed it well, like say for example Dark Fantasy, then it really would elevate the album. But in this case, it's like it just comes off as whiny and it's just poorly written, and it just kind of disrupts the vibe of an otherwise fun pop album. Which, let's talk about the music here for a second.
I think we focused on the lyrics a bit too much.
Is a really great pop album. Like the sound, like the when Let It Happen starts a little. Hold on, let me.
Okay, if this production was on a flat-out pop album, where it's just like, okay, this is pop, this isn't like pop rock, this isn't indie pop, like, this is flat-out pop music, I would love this album. I would love it.
No, but I'm just saying.
But the thing is, it doesn't know what it wants to be. It doesn't have a clear identity, I guess.
Well, I don't really care about that. I'm just talking about how the production right now, and like the sound of it, and the synth music make this really fun psychedelic pop. Okay. And I really appreciate it. I really dig it. Especially the first 7 songs, like musically, they just flow and they just feel good.
Okay, sometimes nice. Can I explain? Okay, it's a well produced album. It's a very well produced album, and considering that Kevin Parker did all this by himself, that's very, very impressive. But I guess sometimes just some of the melodies don't really like. I don't like some of the melodies. I don't like some of the synthesizers he used. I don't like some of the instruments he used. Sometimes there's some great produced songs that I really love, but sometimes there's little tiny things in the production that I'm like, I don't enjoy this. Or sometimes it feels like just quickly put together, like, the 2 tracks before, the same, I don't even, New Person, Same Old
Reality
Mistakes.
in Motion and Love Paranoia.
Those just seem like really, quickly put together songs, in my opinion. Like, I'll just, put these together real quickly because I need to fill more space in this album.
Actually, I disagree. But Arthi, speak. Arthi.
Okay.
I said before because they're just kind of like there. Like they don't really fit in the narrative that much, in my opinion, and it's just sort of boring. It's like, okay, they're there. I don't know.
The reason I haven't listened to this album that much is that I actually don't dig the sound that much.
And I would agree. I just don't like. I mean, I've listened to them a bunch, and I'm just sort of like. I've listened over and over again. It's just like, okay, the production, it's still not like really, really catching me. It's like there's only so many listens I can give this album before it clicks, and like I've listened to this album at least like 15 or 16 times already, and the production hasn't completely clicked with me. There's songs that
you've listened to it 15 times.
Hold on, let me get an official. I've listened to it a bunch. I know that. Hold on.
That's insane. It came out like 2 weeks ago.
Oh yeah,
okay.
It's like I think no, it's like 10 or 11.
Anyways, I actually don't dig the sound that much of like the album. Like I like psych pop, but I feel like I kind of disagree with Jeremiah. That's why I haven't listened to it more, because I feel like what Jeremiah said about it sounding modern, I don't really agree with that. I feel like and like I'm sorry to compare it to Lonerism again, but I keep
That's
like,
okay. It's the other album it's to compare it to because Lonerism is like a modern classic, so it's a
yeah.
good benchmark.
So like I feel like the difference is that Lonerism is like a tribute to the 60s, but it still sounds modern. But then like with this album, it's like a tribute to 80s like synth pop, but it just sounds like something like from the 80s. And I just don't, I guess I don't like that. Like I like Let It Happen a lot and I like Nangs, but like the problem I have, like one thing that I've been really petty about when I've been listening to this album is that one instrument. I talked about this so many times.
Oh,
Do
the
you know
bell,
what I'm
right?
talking about? The one, like the bells that sound like they're from like a 90s like educational video?
Yeah,
Do you
it's like
guys know what I'm
I
talking
have no
about?
idea what you're talking about.
Like, I don't know how to explain it. I think like they're called new age bells,
Okay,
maybe.
okay. Another problem I have
But
this
like
production.
that instrument it just seems so dated.
Hmm. I guess another issue of the production. Maybe it's just sort of an issue with Kevin Parker doing like everything on the album, where it just sort of comes off as like I feel like this album would have benefited if it had like different musicians on the album, it's not just Kevin Parker. Like one of the biggest problems I have with Tame Impala, and it's kind of a problem and a positive. It depends on each song. Lonerism, the drums are good, but like sometimes they're a little too prominent at times, and they should be more in the foreground. Same goes for Currents, where like I feel like this album could have really benefited from like a better drummer because Kevin Parker
Kevin Parker's a fine drummer.
he's a fine drummer, but like he could really use a better drummer.
I don't notice that, especially on Lonerism. I think Lonerism's a pretty
I mean, Loner has some
excellently
great drums, like
crafted
stuff like
album.
feels like only has backwards. It's great drums. Feels good. It but like on this album, it just sort of at times where like it's just the drum beats are maybe a little too simplistic, and sometimes it's just sort of like would have came in and maybe someone added a bit more flair with the drums. I don't know, but like the synthesizers are fine. I think I'm gonna speak on Will for this, but like Will probably would mention that the bass is great on this album.
Yeah,
Yeah, their bass is always great.
The guitar, again, Kevin Parker is a fine guitarist. He's a fine bass player. Okay drum player. Synthesizers are also kind of cool. Sometimes I think he uses like some synthesizers, but overall the album is well produced, but it doesn't really appeal to me, I guess.
Wait, did he play all the instruments?
Yeah,
yes.
everything else
It's just Kevin Parker.
What?
I think this is like the first Tame Impala album where it's like
No.
completely
Lonerism was like that too.
I think Lonerism
It's
had
just
some
Kevin
help from some
Parker.
people, but like barely any.
He has a
Someone else
band.
fixed it.
Yeah,
Someone
Are
else
you
fixed
sure?
yeah, no, he
No,
has a
the
touring
band-
band, Arthi.
band
He has a
literally
touring
just
band.
toured with them.
What?
Yeah.
I didn't know that. That's
I
crazy.
actually thought War and Drugs was like that too for a while because I assumed it was like Tame Impala, but I was actually really glad to learn that it actually is a band behind Adam Granduciel. But yeah, I don't know.
What?
I really like the production. I really like the sound he captures. It's really candy coated and glossy and tasty, and I do appreciate that. And I think that some of his pop hooks are excellent. I think some of the pop riffs and melodies are excellent. But I do think this album is weighed down by the just boring and just overwrought and over the top narrative that he just can't help but beat into you every single song. So that's my like final verdict of it. And like some of the songs I really like the first half in terms of music. Past Life kind of kills the vibe, so I might just delete it. But I don't know. Like Let It Happen is really fun, and I really like it. And I just like wish he made more songs like that, and less songs like Past Life. That's my, and because I'm a man, and that's my professional analysis.
Okay, final verdict. this album is good in certain ways and it's bad in other ways. It's way too inconsistent in my opinion. Like there's songs here that are great, but like the songs, most of the songs are just not well written. The narrative is terrible
Yep.
and boring. The
makes
production, while
the
good, is
lyric-
not that appealing to me.
That's
And
fair.
if I had to give this album a head rating, I give it like a really quick like no, like
I give this album a very sad and reluctant head shake.
It's a shrug. I think you give some like a
No,
positive shrug.
I give this because I really love Lonerism and Inner Speaker, and I
So you like
guess
some out of just like guilt. Like it's Tame Impala.
no. It's no. I don't like. I mean, I don't really like. I gave it a shake of my head, which is like not. It's a head shake side to side, not a nod. That's
I give this one, for me personally, it's a head bobbing to Let It Happen and Nangs and not really listening to the rest of it.
that's good. I don't know. I
I'm
just think
sorry,
because
guys.
he's just not a good lyricist, or he's not a, or he's not. Sorry, he's not one of the better lyricists in indie. He has his moments, but this album, he focused way too much. He tried way too hard to make like lyrics that were like whoa, and
Yeah, and like
it just was not
that's
good.
good because he's like trying. But also
But it's
like
also poor
that's just like something
will never change, but that's bullshit.
they do, and
I
that's how
think
we have the podcast.
what I love
Sorry,
about
go ahead, Arthi.
lunarism, I can't hear anyone.
Well,
Arthi,
because
go.
we're not talking.
Okay. Because my headphones are broken. But anyways, what I love about lunarism, like I'm sorry I keep mentioning it, but that's a perfect album to me. And I think that it's just that like he doesn't really focus on his lyrics that much and he has just
Yeah,
has this like awesome instrumentation and these
it's
like
about the
cool
vibe.
tunes and like this great vibe. And I guess
Yeah,
with Currents for me, the reason I haven't listened to it that much is because he like didn't
He's not
really
focusing on the vibe as much. He's trying to get into other
yes.
things, and it's just proving his
yeah,
weaknesses. Where
like
he
that's
needs time.
good
He
because
needs time to improve.
he's like trying to do something else, which is good. But then also like it's just something I don't like and that's really unfortunate because like I think he should keep doing new things. I don't think he should keep focusing on his vibe because eventually then it'll
And
be like you made another album that sounds like like super chill.
and I'm all for artistic progression, and I agree with that, Arthi. But like that's not my problem with the album. It's not that he's. It's just it's not like oh my god, I changed it up from Loners. It's just sort of like I just don't like this album because it's poorly written. The production doesn't really appeal to me that much, and it's just sort of like okay, it's an album. It's this album. It's great. It's great elevator music with like a bit of an edge to it.
So you're saying
Because
it's
if I heard this album, I'd
vaporwave.
be like, okay, it's kind of cool. If I heard any of these songs on the radio, I'd be like, this is a pretty fucking great song. But like we're supposed to take, I guess it's because Tame Impala has kind of gotten a reputation from the subreddit and just in general, Pitchfork and all
And
those
from
places
indie dome.
from the indie sphere, and it's just like, it's like I just don't get it. I just do not get it. Like I don't know. But yeah, I think is anyone like any? I guess we already kind of gave our final. comments on
I'll
this.
just give my final thought one more time. I think this is
It's
a really
okay.
well produced album. I think it's really pretty. I think it's
I'm
really
gonna give my final
nice.
thoughts on the album too at the same time. Jeremy, just keep
No,
going. We'll just do it at the same time.
no, let's not do that.
Okay, never
Because
mind.
you're gonna try and talk over me, and then I'm gonna try and talk over you. And I think it's really tasty. And I really want to eat like the moment. I really want to eat the moment.
I
Like
don't
it
like
sounds
candy, so
really
I don't want to eat
dumb,
it.
but it just
I don't
sounds
like
like
candy.
it just sounds delicious, right? But
I don't
then
like the
like I
moment, so
hear
I can't do it.
past life, and then past life kind of like forces me to go under the surface. I don't really want to go under the surface. Past like it's like yeah, I was walking past the grocery store where I saw somebody.
You sound like fucking Goofy.
Yeah, but that's what he sounds like.
No, he sounds like Dave Fuck. He sounds like Dave Fuck from that Mac DeMarco
Either way, he
skit.
sounds awful. He sounds really stupid, and
Okay, hold on. I made a
it just
joke.
breaks the pop immersion. It breaks the pop little like high that I was on, and I was enjoying myself on, and then it just forces me to pay attention to this just poorly written album about a subject which could have been compelling, which could have been really cool, which was pretty unique. I mean, it could have been interesting if he had just
Not been a terrible writer.
not been a bad songwriter.
You know,
because like
what the sound makes it exposed a great conspiracy about Kevin Parker. Okay, I've been saving this for the past like almost 2 hours. Okay, Kevin Parker enjoys the movie Baby Geniuses. You want to know why? Okay, when I was a kid, one of my favorite movies was Baby Geniuses. Now I realize that it's a terrible film. It's awful. It sucks. Bob Clark ends up being a hack fraud. Anyways, on the album or on the soundtrack of the album, there is the song "Staying Alive" by Bee Gees, and that was one of the songs that helped Kevin Parker inspire the album. Except he was on a bunch of drugs and whatnot. And also on the soundtrack, the last song for like the before the credits, there's a song here that like sounds just like almost just like Past Life, except instead of like a falsetto, the guy has like more of a baritone. It's like a baritone version of like Past Life, and like whenever like Kevin Parker is like singing on Past Life, it's like in a past life. It's like the same sort of melody. It's like, oh my god, Kevin Parker is a fan of the movie Baby Geniuses. He has terrible movie taste.
I like how you were like, this is a conspiracy theory, guys. Listen in, everyone.
It is a conspiracy
and you,
theory
like,
that he likes
put on your
It just
geniuses.
wasn't a
and you were
conspiracy
like,
theory
he
at all.
likes Baby Geniuses. All right, before
should
we
end the
go, I
podcast.
just want to say, if anyone knows what I'm talking about when I say new agey bells that sound like a 90s educational video, please like let me know, because I really want someone to understand what I'm talking about and like tell me how they feel about that, because I can't get over it.
Okay, I hope you guys enjoyed this week's podcast. I'm sorry that I hate currents. I know I'm gonna get a lot of hate in the comments, and I'm willing to discuss why I dislike the sound in the comments of our Reddit post and the YouTube. iTunes doesn't have comments.
Definitely a very fierce dislike. If I were to give your dislike a rating,
Yeah,
be
but
very,
please,
very
I'm
fierce.
willing to discuss this. So please discuss this album with me. I want to discuss it with other people. I do. I really want to talk this album with other people and see what they think.
Okay.
It sounded
Well, you
like we'll
talked
get
about it
into
with
podcasts.
me.
Because he really
That's
wanted
good.
to. Because he's the only one here who like really enjoys the album.
Oh, that's true. He wasn't here to defend it. I feel kind of bad.
Yeah,
It's like how
but-
me and Sarah weren't here for In Color.
Mm-hmm.
But then again, all me and Sarah would have said is just like it makes us feel some type of way, and you guys would be like, "No, it's wrong." I'm like, wow. Anyways,
Okay, I'm sorry. Okay,
the
anyways,
moral
hope
of
you
the
guy
story, verdict.
I really give my verdict was
sounds
like
good.
That was my verdict.
Current sounds good, but is not written well. All right, have a good one, guys.
See ya. Bye.
Good talk.